alkaline water. That's so important. Okay. Chapter 4. The Law of Polarity. Let's hop right into this one. The law of polarity is one of the 15 universal laws that govern the universe. It is a principle that states that everything in the universe has two opposite poles or aspects, that these poles are necessary for balance and harmony. The law of polarity is also known as the law of opposites or the law of duality. It is an important principle in many spiritual traditions and philosophical systems. The law of polarity is based on the idea that everything in the universe has an opposite, and that these opposites are complementary and interconnected. For example, there is no such thing as darkness without light or cold without heat. These opposites are necessary for balance and harmony, and they are often seen as complementary aspects of the same thing. One of the key aspects of the law of polarity is that the two poles of any given thing or situation are not separate, but rather interconnected and interdependent. In other words, one pole cannot exist without the other, and they are both necessary for balance and harmony. This means that even though the poles may appear to be in opposition to one another, they are actually part of the same whole. Another important aspect of the law of polarity is that the poles are not static, but rather dynamic and constantly changing. For example, the poles of hot and cold are not fixed, but rather exist on a continuum. This means that something that is hot in one context may be considered cold in another context. The law of polarity also teaches us that the perception of something good, of something as good or bad, positive or negative, depends on the perspective of the observer. What may be considered good by one person may be considered bad by another, and vice versa. This means that there is no absolute good or bad, but rather these concepts are relative and dependent on the perspective of the observer. One of the most powerful aspects of the law of polarity is its application to personal growth and transformation. By understanding that every situation or experience has both positive and negative aspects, we can begin to shift our perspective and see the opportunities for growth and learning in every challenge we face. For example, a difficult experience may be seen as an opportunity to learn and grow rather than simply a negative event. The law of polarity can also be applied to relationships and interpersonal dynamics. By understanding that every person has both positive and negative aspects, we can begin to see them in a more balanced and compassionate way. This can help us to cultivate more harmonious and fulfilling relationships as we learn to appreciate and accept the whole person rather than just one aspect of them. There are several practices that can be used to cultivate an understanding of the law of polarity and its application to personal growth and transformation. One of the most powerful is mindfulness, which can help us to become more aware of our thoughts and emotions and the ways in which we perceive the world around us. By cultivating mindfulness, we can begin to see the interconnectedness of all things and the ways in which the law of polarity operates in our lives. Another practice that can help us to cultivate an understanding of the law of polarity is journaling. By reflecting on our experiences and the ways in which they have both positive and negative aspects, we can begin to shift our perspective and see the opportunities for growth and learning in every situation. This can help us to cultivate a more positive and resilient mindset and to approach challenges with greater confidence and resilience. In conclusion, the law of polarity is a fundamental principle that governs the universe. It teaches us that everything in the universe has two opposite poles or aspects, and that these poles are necessary for balance and harmony. By understanding and applying the law of polarity, we can begin to cultivate a more balanced and passionate perspective on ourselves, others, and the world around us. We can begin to see the positive aspects of every situation. Even in the midst of difficulty or challenge. By embracing the law of polarity, we can open ourselves to a greater growth, transformation, and fulfillment in every area of our lives. As we continue to deepen our understanding of this powerful principle, we can harness its transformative power to create positive change, both within ourselves and in the world around us. The law of polarity is a powerful principle that can be applied to many areas of our lives, from personal growth and transformation to relationships and interpersonal dynamics. By understanding and applying this principle, we can begin to cultivate a more balanced and compassionate perspective on ourselves, others, and the world around us. Here are some steps you can take to apply the law of polarity to your own life. Step 1. Cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being present and aware of our thoughts, emotions, and surroundings. By cultivating mindfulness, we can begin to see the interconnectedness of all things and the ways in which the law of polarity operates in our lives. Take time each day to practice mindfulness, whether through meditation, deep breathing exercises, or simply taking a few moments to pause. Observe your surroundings. Step 2. Embrace both the positive and negative aspects of every situation. The law of polarity teaches us that every situation has both positive and negative aspects, and that both are necessary for balance and harmony. Instead of focusing solely on the negative aspects of a situation, try to embrace the positive aspects as well. For example, if you are facing a difficult challenge, try to see it as an opportunity for growth and learning rather than simply a negative event. Step 3. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is the practice of focusing on the positive aspects of our lives and appreciating the good things that we have. By practicing gratitude, we can begin to shift our perspective and see the positive aspects of every situation, even in the midst of difficulty or challenge. Take time each day to reflect on the things you are grateful for, whether it is your health, your family, your job, or simply the beauty of nature. Step 4. Accept and appreciate the whole person. The law of polarity teaches us that every person has both positive and negative aspects, and that both are necessary for the balance and harmony. Instead of focusing solely on the negative aspects of a person, try to accept and appreciate the whole person, including their positive qualities as well. This can help us to cultivate more harmonious and fulfilling relationships as we learn to appreciate and accept the whole person rather than just one aspect of them. Step 5. Reflect on your experiences. Journaling is a powerful tool for reflection and self-discovery. By reflecting on your experiences and the ways in which they have both positive and negative aspects, you can begin to shift your perspective and see the opportunities for growth and learning in every situation. Take time each day to write down your thoughts and reflections, and to explore the ways in which the law of polarity operates in your life. Okay? So, by applying these steps to your own life, you can begin to cultivate a more balanced and compassionate perspective on yourself, others, and the world around you. You can begin to see the positive aspects of every situation, even in the midst of difficulty or challenge, and to embrace the transformative power of the law of polarity. With time and practice, you can harness the power of this principle to create positive change both within yourself and in the world around you. Here's another little story I made. Honestly, I made a whole bunch of stories because I quit all my bad habits. So I have all this time. Time can mean numbers or the green herb. There's always different perspectives. Anyways, here's a little short story. The two sides of the tree. A story of the law of polarity. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Lily who loved to explore the world around her. One day, while she was walking through a beautiful forest, she stumbled upon a tree with two branches that looked exactly the same, but felt different to the touch. One branch was rough and prickly, while the other was smooth and silky. Curious about this strange phenomenon, Lily began to investigate. She soon realized that the tree represented the law of polarity, which states that everything in the universe has two opposite poles or aspects. As she continued to explore, she discovered that the law of polarity was all around her. She noticed that the sun and moon, day and night, and even the seasons all had two opposite poles that were necessary for balance and harmony. Lily also learned that the law of polarity could be applied to her own life. She realized that every experience, no matter how difficult or challenging, had a positive aspect to it. Even when things seemed bleak, she could always find something to be grateful for. Over time, Lily became more mindful of the law of polarity and began to journal about her experiences. By reflecting on the positive and negative aspects of each situation, she was able to shift her perspective and find new opportunities for growth and learning. As she continued to apply the law of polarity to her life, Lily became more compassionate and understanding person. She learned to appreciate the whole person rather than just one aspect of them, and to cultivate more harmonious relationships with those around her. In the end, Lily realized that the law of polarity was a powerful principle that could be used to create positive change in the world. By embracing the interconnectedness of all things and seeing the positive aspects of every situation, she was able to harness the transformative power of the law of polarity to create a more balanced, harmonious, and fulfilling life. Make a beautiful day, the day that you deserve.